on. All right, everybody. Oh, happy day. Welcome. Expense.com. Sitting here with the man, Terrence. Terrence, say hi, buddy.
How's it going, man?
Terrence is phenomenal. He has done telesales, $8,000 of production in roughly 2.5 weeks, doing it purely by the phone. Now, Terrence, tell us about yourself. Have you ever done telesales before, prior to joining the agency?
No, I've never did telesales before. What I did a lot of calling over the phone, so a lot of cold calling, having a lot of conversations, but not exclusively telesales. For the most part, I was picking up the phone to set an appointment, and for those who couldn't meet in person, we would do that over the phone. So I did have that happen quite a lot, but not an extensive telesales experience.
Awesome. And you were writing, like, so proud of you. I
Right.
appreciate you coming on. And like, you took the training. Was the training that we went through, was it always comfortable in the process?
You know what? For me, I looked at it like a jigsaw puzzle. So think of it this way. It was kind of like those little 2-degree moves that had a major impact. And so when I tried different tactics that were never brought to me, I was never informed about, that you could tell they made a huge difference. And so that was the big ones. A lot of the tips that I were given, I never heard them before. And so when I applied them, they became effective.
And you've done so great with it. I mean, have you ever played with like objections in the way that, we've kind of battled back and forth as a group? Have you ever gone through some of that before where you were face to face? Because you were face to face, right, Terrence?
Right. Face to face, not so much face to face. Probably more over the phone. However, I guess I would say the difference is from past training to this one is really having that sound strategy of how to mitigate those. The wording, keeping it simple, keeping it easy. How to explain certain circumstances or scenarios, that helped. And then knowing when to just push past an objection or maneuver around it, as opposed to making everyone like a full-blown war. It's just knowing how to handle them.
Right, absolutely. And it's like I know in face-to-face world, I know sometimes they train objection handling. It is almost like a boxing match, right? It's like,
right, yeah.
It's like great way, seeing it's like a war. It's like we just both with our noses bloody. It's like nobody feels good about anything.
Right. And I think too is knowing how to manage the conversation. So a lot of the objections are taken away throughout the conversation. So we've already discussed, why you're going to do it, why it's helpful for you. We've already talked about your budget. So there's really no reason to say no, except, maybe I don't have the money, or maybe I just don't trust you. But those are easier to get through as opposed to some of the red flags I've dealt with in the past.
Absolutely, it is. And how is it I know a lot of times when you step into something that's new, right? Because telesales, you're very skilled on the phones, but it's the first time you've ever really sold over the phone. And a lot of people probably wonder out there, like, how is it from getting support? Like when you need something, how quick is it to get your questions answered? Or how quick is it to be able to get, confirmation of either a good or bad or product placement or things like that, just for the audience so they understand how that kind of looks for the folks at the agency?
Yeah, that is probably the game changer for working, partnering with you, is that when you're on the phone, it's kind of like a game of seconds in some issues where you need to have an answer. It's only so long you have the intention between their favorite show comes on, somebody walks in the door, or they get another phone call. So you kind of have that information and know how to keep them engaged. But my experience, the support that I've needed, carrier questions, what to do here, they've been instant. That's not just from you, but from the group as well. So that's a game changer.
I know it's so fun, like just like spitballing, even in our group. We have fun, and I think a lot of times folks that are independent agents, and we all are, right? We all do our own thing. Like, you're providing phenomenally for your family. Crazy proud, and every agent that partners, it's it's so fun, but sometimes it can be such a solo sport,
Oh,
and it can feel lonely out there. Like if you got
right,
questions, like man, it's like, I know I didn't always have the best of support when I first started in the insurance
right,
industry such a long time ago, and it's like it cost me money. If
right,
I don't get that question answered quick, it's like you're so right. It's a game of seconds.
right,
So it's like Price is Right starts popping on, and you know
right,
it's time to.
right,
You better be either really interesting or
right, right. Or even another one is just the morale. Like, man, going commission, getting started, it's it can be tough. I mean, you have your ups and your downs. And so for me, it was key for me to have have a team. I've always, believed that being in business, for myself but not by myself was the way to go. So even just beyond those quick answers to questions to help families, is even more so is just being able to say, all right, I had a sucky day and this happened, to have somebody, be able to call and say, what do I do? How do I change? What do I do going forward? And that is huge. That is huge.
No, and I appreciate that, Terrence. And how was it for transitioning from you when you went from like the face-to-face world, like you did so
Right,
successfully, and then you transitioned to something that was really kind of different for you?
right,
You weren't
right,
comfortable in a transition, but how did that feel for you? With like when you went from sitting on the couches that aren't always the beautiful,
right,
brand new couches on the planet, they kind of smell a little bit, and you come
right,
home
right.
and how was that transition for you? Like, was it a mental change for you going from face to face to, was there an adjustment period for you just a little bit, or how were your feelings that way?
The main feeling was excitement, to be honest with you. Once, like, I was door knocking, a lot of cold, was completely unaware of how the successful agents were doing it. And as I began to get more informed, educate myself, I saw that a lot of the most successful agents, they had a reliable lead source or a reliable lead system. They either they set appointments, or they would have a lot of conversations. So they had a great leads, whether they set appointments or did, first call, they had a lot of conversations. And so I just kind of tried it, and I took some money I had, money I didn't have, put it that way, and bought some leads, took a risk. And once I saw that I bought X amount of leads, I could expect X amount of conversations. And then from those conversations, I got a lot of apps submitted. That was pretty much it. So at that point, I knew I could do it. And so once I had that feeling, the transition was exciting. I come up here 9:30 to 6 o'clock. Go back and forth to help my daughter with the homework, and 6 o'clock I'm downstairs cooking dinner. Yeah, that was exciting, to be honest.
And so your work-life balance,
Right,
sounds like, is it, sounds like it's a little better work-life
right.
balance than when it was in the field. Is that correct? Like, was it just a little
Yeah,
different?
yeah. You put a lot of I put a lot of miles on my car in the field, and when I got back, it was when I got back. And sometimes when I kind of look back over the week and saw how many people I actually talked to, it may have only been 7, 5, 6. And from that amount, maybe only sold 2, 3, maybe 4. And I was selling stuff where I couldn't get paid right away. So, I mean, that's a way to build a business. It's just a very slow way. And I didn't
Mm.
have the means to wait.
Right. I mean, I know most people's bills don't wait to get paid.
Right, right, right.
They come out. So I mean, it's like, wow,
Yeah,
So yeah, that's so exciting. I mean, so you're not having to work late nights. You're not having to work weekends. You're making crazy good income for your
right,
family. I mean, that's what it's about, right?
right,
It's about having freedom with your family. I'm so encouraged. I love that when you're like, hey, I get to go help my daughter with this, and I get to go do dinner and hang out with my family.
right,
It's like we're blessed people. I mean, to be able
right,
to do what we do, make great money. I mean, you know how long it would take most people. Some people would have to take, you've done it 2.5 weeks of
right,
$8,000. Most people would take 2.5 months or longer
right, right,
to make that kind of money in the outside world. And yeah, I always look at it as we're kind of compressing time. You and I are both like, we're maximizing our conversations with
Right.
people.
Yeah, that's huge too, to be able to have a conversation and immediately have another conversation or take some time. Or I mean, I'm always improving while I'm talking. So if I have a call, I have a conversation, I didn't say something, I just kind of take a second to rehearse how to overcome that. I track my activities, I track my conversations, I record my conversations. So I'm just always looking for how to move forward better each day. So I've definitely had my scrapes, and it's, I had to get myself together, but it's clear to me that, my time is used, and I'm effective at this. Thank God for that. And so it just makes so much sense.
Absolutely. I mean, you've done so well. I mean, it's
Right.
like, as much as we, I always say sometimes you have to fail forward, and at
Right,
least
right,
at least if you got good power scripts, you've got good training. It's like we,
right,
we may get a scratch, but we don't lose an arm. And I think
right,
sometimes
right,
in the
right.
insurance world, when we wing it, we're in trouble. It's like, I
Yeah.
always say, would you equate, because you've been face to face before, would you equate
Uh,
like the face to face world kind of like a bicycle a little bit, and like the telesales world kind of looking like a little bit of a unicycle? Would you say that's accurate in your jump, as far as the nuances being similar but yet completely different?
um, I mean, so going from face to face to telesales, I guess for me, my mindset didn't really take that much of a shift, because for when I'm talking, I'm visualizing me talking face to face. So my conversation and the tonalities and the way I move, I got my headset, I'm hands free, so I'm always moving my hands. So, and I'm looking at the name that I'm talking to. So I really haven't changed too much as far as the way I engage. I'm just very, very particular about my tonalities. And maybe I'm just a bit emboldened with challenging some of the things. Well, listen, you said you wanted to do this for your daughter, or this is, so I'm kind of emboldened to come back if I hear any doubt, to kind of draw things out of them. So that has changed. But for me, it hasn't been that much of a change in the way of conversation. It's just the only thing that's changed is if I'm getting more of them and they're more effective. That has changed.
Absolutely. And you're so good at communication anyway,
Right,
Terrence. You're gifted
right,
that way. Like, I love the way you're like, I just visualize like I'm across the table talking to him,
right,
and I'm really there. Like I'm speaking the same way, more animated. And
right,
that's so key. I mean, because they can't see us. It's like you and I are both completely on a screen where they
right,
can't see our tonality and our expressions, but yet
right,
they're impactful. Like the way that you carry yourself and bring yourself through that phone, um, it makes a difference. You've
right,
proven it. I mean, I think our whole insurance group has proven it. But I mean, just amazing success,
right,
and the love that you have for your clients, Terrence,
right.
shows. It just does. I
Yeah, I
mean,
had somebody. We had a conversation, and she was trying to get off that phone for whatever reason, but my personality strong points are just being very genuine, very sincere, very transparent, and nice and helpful. At the same time, maybe a bit lovingly challenging, to kind
mhm.
of put people in a particular place where, like, all right, do you want your daughter to have to run around asking her mother and her father for money to pay for your bills when you pass? Just and that may sound maybe a bit crass. However, it's more of a reckoning, a coming to Jesus moment where, all right, this is about your family, and you told me you wanted me to call, so let's have the conversation. Let's be honest. Let's be helpful. And I think having that attitude is what makes it effective over the phone, because you can't see me, but you can feel that I'm trying to help you. So even the lady a couple of days ago, she said, listen, you're real good. You're really trying, you really keep at it. And I said, listen, it's not about being good. It's about making sure that if God forbid something happens to you, I'm the one that's going to be helping your daughter take care of your funeral. That's all. That's what it's all about. And so just that has been the strong point of, all right, once we get into a conversation and we get talking, and if you're open and I can do what I can to break down that little defense wall and have my little jokes and be myself, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna proceed and do something to protect their families.
And that's so huge. I mean, just your genuineness, Terrence, it just pours through the phone lines.
Right.
It's so valuable, right? Like so many people just, I don't know, it's so fake sounding, if that makes sense. Like people are that way, and we're the polar opposite in how we handle folks. It gives a different result. I mean, it does. Now, are you using are you CRM based, Terrence? Are you hand dial? Are you what's your favorite way of, are you hand dialing? Do you like using CRMs that are more complicated? Do you believe in one over the other?
No, I was I used to be against CRM dialing because I felt like when I'm hitting the numbers, it's hitting my psyche to where I'm doing work. So that was like the number of dials was a stat of value. Like, all right, at the end of the day, I made 500 dials, but that's when I was calling cold, right? I would have the phone. However, I have moved to a CRM. I have Mojo. That works awesome. Allows me to put everything from export, organizes it, and I have my actions plan. So for the people that they submitted an app, I want to make sure I'm in touch with them. People that I've already been issued an app, they're a client, I want to make sure I'm talking to them once, maybe twice a month, to make sure that over the next 9 to 12 months, they keep it. If something happens where a payment didn't go through, I want to, be talking to them before that happens so I could jump on it, because that type of stuff causes them to, let a policy lapse. So after you bring them in, just keeping that relationship alive. So a CRM helps me with that. I get my reminders. Now, when I'm dialing, because I do the tactic that you showed me when I'm dialing, I am using CRM. And so that has been very effective.
And I love the fact that you're so sensitive to making sure that your policies stay on the books, but more importantly, you're keeping in touch, right? You're letting them know that it's not see ya, it's like you're genuinely involved in lives. And I think that just transcends the phone lines and how you sell and how you take care of people. And, I'm just nothing but proud of you. That's just, it's phenomenal. And, that's what heart matters. It just does. Our heart that shines through to our consumers and meeting their needs, being transparent, at times, but doing it in a loving way. But yeah, you're so right. I think so many people don't talk about keeping the policy on the books, right? That's important. That's everything. It's like, why spend all the time selling a policy if you don't actually make sure it sticks? If it doesn't stick and stay, that's not a lot of fun. You better write a lot of volume.
Even with that, because as a broker, I kind of consider myself, I'm partnering with these carriers. So I want to make sure that I establish myself as someone that does good business. In addition to that, I have a family. My focus is to make sure that, what I get stays on there. And so if I just do it the right way the first time out, I don't have to worry about anything. So making sure that, I told someone the other day, my job is to kind of cheerlead them to apps issued. I got to cheerlead them along the way, keep them motivated, keep them encouraged, stick very closely to them, text messages, emails, calls throughout this whole process. And then once it's over, lots of loving affirmation, great text message, send a coffee card in the mail or something like that, just to keep them, keep myself in their mind as the insurance guy, and then make sure that it hits that 12-month, 1 year mark. So it's kind of like you're grafting them in for a whole year, and then after that as well, because then they become great referrers.
Absolutely, I love that. It's just such a sharp mindset. That's huge. I mean, just the way that you handle folks and do your business and just think, the way you think is just so brilliant. Just enhance your entire aspect of your business. And is your family pretty excited about what you're doing now compared to all the time?
I think in this pandemic, people can get kind of wacky, and then, you know, everybody's trying to scare everybody. You know, I've cut off the news drastically. Even some of the snippets I got, and they were all trying to make everybody anxious and worrisome. So, you know, to be able to just come down and say, all right, you know, this is how much we got coming in. This was submitted. This is what we can expect. You know, within a month's time, it's very comforting. And even that, because we're entrepreneurs, we get the growth. So just to have that and to know if something were to happen, we have more to work with is always cool as well. So you're definitely looking up.
Absolutely. I think huge. Would you say a huge advantage from the telespace compared to the old face-to-face days?
Yeah. When this pandemic started to happen, let's say in March, around that time and prior to that, I was door knocking. And so I had my Road Warrior app, and I was, I mean, anywhere from 50 to 100. Within a day. So within 2 days, about 50 to 100 within every 2 days. And as much as I was on the doors. As things began to pick up in March, people were kind of, you know, coming to the window instead of the door to see who you were. And so that really changed things. And so for me, just to transition to over the phone, everybody's home, they're more likely to pick up. And so it's just really easy. You know, they don't have many excuses, not much going on. So it's just been an opportunity.
Absolutely. And using, you know, your natural talents to,
Right.
you know, just kind of explode your growth and opportunity. And I resonate with that, where it's like so many
Right.
folks, you know, it is tough what's going on. You don't want, you're so right. Turn that news off, right?
Right.
Keep yourself in a happy place.
Right.
Like,
Right.
my goodness. It's like, you got to surround yourself with positive people that are going the same direction you are.
Right.
You know, you flip that TV on all the time. It's like, yikes, you know.
Right.
Definitely important to stay in a good place, but
Yeah.
that's so great. Well, I'm nothing but proud of you, Terrence. Thank you
man.
for coming on. Anybody that, you know, needs to know additional information, look up jasonfinalexpense.com. Appreciate y'all out there. Thank you guys for watching.